Hello, everyone. Here to do a little teaching on the Three-Fifths Compromise that our group had. It was done by Anthony, Victoria, Brianna, and Frisco. So let's go ahead and get started. What was the Three-Fifths Compromise? Well, it was an agreement reached at the Constitutional Convention that stipulated that each slave was to be counted as 3/5 of a person for purposes of determining population for representation in the U.S. House of Representatives. How did it start? Well, it started out as a dispute. Most of the northern states did not want to count slaves at all, arguing that they should be treated as property as they didn't have as many votes or any other power. The Articles of Confederation had apportioned taxes not according to population, but according to land values. These states consistently undervalued their land in order to reduce their tax burden. To rectify this situation, a special committee recommended apportioning taxes by population. The southern states wanted to count slaves as people so that they would get more representation in Congress, giving them more political power. James Madison suggested a compromise. Why not do the 5-to-3 ratio? We have a little comic argument here that we found that we thought was funny between the North and the South. So do a little reenactment of that. So the South saying, we think that African Americans should be counted as a whole for voting. No way, we think that we should not be counted for voting. Well, why not? They have just as good of rights as everyone else. Well then, if that's true, then why not treat them like the rest and tax them as well? No, that's not how it should be. Fine, count them as 3/5 a person for voting and taxing. Deal. So just to give you a little quick idea of what the Three-Fifths Compromise kind of happened. Our next slide here, we have the slave population in 1820. It was just showing how each dot represents 200 slaves. It's just a little breakdown of show how they really counted as a person. As a result of the Three-Fifths Compromise, there was two representatives by the names of James Wilson and Roger Sherman who came up with the Three-Fifths Compromise, which was designed to meet the demands of both the North and the South. Recognizing the desire of the South, the Three-Fifths Compromise allowed the government to count part of the slave population while allaying the fears of the North about Southern power. The next slide here, we have a visual scale of the Three-Fifths Compromise. It showed how a slave was only counting as realistically 3 feet 7 inches of a regular person, which was estimated as 6 feet tall. So just to give you a little idea of what 3/5 of a person looked like in terms of a scale. There was some negatives to the Three-Fifths Compromise. First off, it had a major effect on the pre-Civil War political affairs due to the disproportionate representation of slaveholding states. In 1793, slave states would have 33 seats in the House of Representatives, but instead there were 47. Southerners dominated the presidency, the speakership of the House, and the Supreme Court prior to the Civil War.